For centuries, sailors whispered of mountains made of water, waves taller than 10-story buildings that appeared without warning, swallowed ships whole, and vanished like ghosts, dismissed by science as drunken hallucinations, until satellites, sensors, and survivors forced the world to confront a terrifying truth. Rogue waves are real, they're growing, and we still don't fully understand them. In 1995, the oil platform Draupner E, stationed in the North Sea, recorded a wave so monstrous, 85 feet tall in a sea of 39-foot swells, that engineers thought their instruments had malfunctioned until recalibration confirmed the impossible. A freak wave had struck, shattering decades of oceanographic dogma that claimed such waves statistically couldn't exist. Before Draupner, the scientific community clung to the Gaussian linear wave model, which mathematically assured shipbuilders and insurers that waves over 50 feet were once in 10,000 years anomalies, meaning vessels designed for maximum probable seas were tragically underbuilt for what the ocean could actually unleash. Sailors' logs filled with tales of walls of water were chalked up to exaggeration, trauma, or tall tales spun over rum, until the 1978 disappearance of the MS München, a state-of-the-art German freighter whose last radio message described giant seas from nowhere, followed by silence. Wreckage later showed her bridge, 65 feet above waterline, had been cleanly sheared off, as if by a wave taller than her mast. The turning point came not from ships, but from space. In 2004, the European Space Agency's MaxWave project analyzed radar images from 2 satellites over 3 weeks and detected more than 10 rogue waves above 82 feet across the globe. Proof these weren't rare flukes, but frequent global phenomena hiding in plain sight. Rogue waves aren't tsunamis. They don't need earthquakes or landslides. They form spontaneously when multiple swell systems collide at just the right angle, combining energy into a single towering peak through a process called constructive interference, turning the open ocean into a liquid particle accelerator. One infamous hotspot is the Agulhas Current off South Africa, where warm Indian Ocean water slams against cold Atlantic swells racing east, creating a cauldron of cross seas so violent that satellite data shows rogue waves occur here every 24 hours on average, some exceeding 100 feet. Another is the roaring Forties near Tasmania, where unobstructed winds whip waves into frenzied chaos. In 2020, an Australian research buoy there recorded a 63.4-foot wave in seas, averaging just 26 feet, a near-vertical wall of water, appearing like a glitch in reality. Even cruise ships aren't safe. In 2001, the Caledonian Star was hit by a 98-foot rogue wave in the South Atlantic, captured on camera, smashing bridge windows 90 feet above sea level, disabling navigation, and leaving the vessel adrift for hours. Miraculously, no one died, but the footage went viral, forcing even skeptics to admit the sea lies. What makes rogue waves especially deadly isn't just height, it's shape. While normal waves roll, rogues often form near vertical walls or deep holes behind them, giving ships no time to climb or brace. They hit like liquid sledgehammers, snapping keels, crushing superstructures, and vanishing before distress signals can be sent. The Andrea Gail, immortalized in The Perfect Storm, likely met this fate in 1991, vanished without trace after sailing into a convergence zone where hurricane-force winds collided with opposing Gulf Stream currents, creating waves estimated at 80 or 100 feet. Her wreck was never found, but computer models now confirm such conditions breed rogues. Climate change is making it worse. Warming oceans intensify storms, elongate fetch, the distance wind blows uninterrupted, and increase wave energy. NASA studies show significant wave heights in the North Atlantic have increased 10% per decade since 1985, with rogue events becoming 20% more frequent. In 2022, a study in Scientific Reports analyzed 4 billion wave measurements and found rogue waves occur roughly twice per day somewhere on Earth, far more often than old models predicted, and are likeliest during winter storms in the Southern Ocean, North Pacific and North Atlantic. Ships are still designed using outdated standards. The International Maritime Organization's rules assume maximum wave height is 1.86 times significant wave height, but rogues regularly hit 2.2x to 3x. That meaning modern cargo vessels, tankers, and even warships face structural loads they were never engineered to survive. The 2007 sinking of the MS Explorer in Antarctica, an unsinkable ice-strengthened cruise ship, was blamed on an iceberg. But survivor accounts describe being hit by a towering black mass that rolled the vessel before the collision. Investigators now suspect a rogue wave compromised stability first. Naval architects are scrambling to adapt. New wave-piercing bows, reinforced hulls, and AI-driven route optimization now factor rogue probability into voyage planning. But retrofitting the global fleet of 50,000-plus large commercial ships, economically impossible. One terrifying discovery: rogues don't just strike in storms, they've been recorded in calm seas under blue skies, generated by hidden underwater currents or distant unnoticed storm systems focusing energy like lenses, meaning no sailor is ever truly safe, anywhere. In 2019, a sailboat crossing the Pacific between Hawaii and California reported a 55-foot wave in seas under 10 feet, captured by onboard sensors, proving rogues can materialize in benign waters, turning leisurely voyages into nightmares. The physics behind them is fiendishly complex. Non-linear Schrödinger equations, modulational instability, soliton collisions, terms that make even physicists sweat, describe how random waves can suddenly synchronize, stealing energy from neighbors to become giants, then collapsing back into chaos. Laboratory experiments at universities like Oxford and Hamburg use wave tanks with computer-controlled paddles to recreate rogues, and they do consistently, proving these aren't statistical ghosts, but emergent properties of chaotic fluid dynamics. One chilling lab finding: adding just 1% wind variance to simulated seas increases rogue probability by 300%. Meaning real-world weather unpredictability, fueled by climate change, is a rogue wave multiplier we're only beginning to quantify. Insurance companies know the truth. Lloyd's of London quietly raised premiums for transoceanic routes in 2018 after internal risk models incorporated satellite rogue data, calling them non-linear maritime hazards to avoid panic. But payouts for sudden structural failure at sea have tripled since 2000. The US Navy trains crews in rogue wave evasion tactics. Rapid course changes, engine bursts to climb wave faces, securing all hatches, but admits in classified briefings that survival often depends on luck, not skill, when facing a 100-foot wall moving at 40 men per hour. Cruise lines downplay the threat. Royal Caribbean's wave mitigation protocols involve rerouting based on NOAA forecasts, but those models still miss 70% of rogue events, as they form too fast for satellites to warn. Passengers are told rough seas, never possible ship killer ahead. Scientists refuse to believe because admitting rogues meant admitting their models were dangerously wrong. And entire industries, shipping, insurance, naval engineering, were built on those flawed assumptions. Careers, contracts, and billions in liability hung in the balance. Even today, many meteorological agencies omit rogue probabilities from public marine forecasts, fearing economic disruption or panic. Instead, they issue vague, hazardous seas alerts, useless to captains needing precise life or death decisions. The 1998 loss of the luxury liner Queen Elizabeth II near Newfoundland, where she reportedly climbed a 90-foot wave like a hill, was dismissed by Cunard as exaggerated, but crew photos of flooded decks and bent railings tell a different story. Repairs cost $12 million, and survivors describe surreal moments, the horizon disappearing, replaced by a blue-black cliff rising silently, the eerie calm before impact, the sound, not a crash, but a deep, subsonic thud as millions of tons of water hammer steel, then darkness, chaos, and the smell of salt and fear. Some waves leave forensic evidence, bent davits, crushed lifeboats, snapped antennae, all mounted 50, 80 feet above waterline, found on otherwise intact wrecks, pointing to impacts no normal sea could deliver. The 2005 sinking of the Albatross cargo ship off Brazil was blamed on cargo shift, but its black box recorded a sudden 40-degree roll seconds before capsizing, in seas forecast at 15 feet. Investigators later concluded a rogue wave struck her beam, flipping her like a toy. Fishermen in the Bering Sea call them widowmakers. Norwegian oil workers dub them hole diggers for the troughs they leave behind, capable of swallowing supply helicopters attempting deck landings. In 2014, the RRS James Cook research vessel deliberately sailed into a predicted rogue zone near Cape Horn to collect data and captured a 62-foot wave on LiDAR. Scientists on board described a literal wall of water blotting out the sky, validating theories but leaving them shaken. Ancient mariners knew. Polynesian navigators avoided certain wave gates in the Pacific. Viking sagas spoke of Aslaup, godruns, waves sent by angry deities. Maori warned of Ngaru Taniwa, monster waves. Their oral histories, once mocked, now align with satellite hotspots. Modern sensors are changing everything. GPS-tracked buoys, ship-mounted wave radars, and AI analyzing satellite altimetry now detect rogues in real time. Yet this data rarely reaches vessels in time due to bandwidth limits and bureaucratic inertia. The EU's Rogue Wave early warning system, launched in 2021, uses machine learning to predict rogue-prone zones 6 to 12 hours ahead with 75% accuracy, but only 12% of commercial ships subscribe, citing cost and skepticism. Military applications are top secret. NATO submarines reportedly use rogue predictions to hide, surfacing briefly in chaotic seas to avoid detection, gambling that sonar can't distinguish a sub from a 100-foot collapsing wave. Offshore wind farms are vulnerable. Turbine foundations, designed for 50-year wave events, are now failing after 5 years. In 2023, a North Sea platform sustained 200 meters damage from a rogue, not insured because it wasn't supposed to happen. Climate models predict hotter oceans will fuel more intense low-pressure systems, increasing rogue frequency by 30–50% by 2050. Particularly along major shipping lanes like the North Atlantic and Southern Ocean, where 80% of global trade passes. Container ships are sitting ducks. Stacked cargo creates top-heavy profiles. A single rogue can shear containers like dominoes, 2,000 plus lost annually, many due to unreported wave strikes. Insurers call it mysterious disappearance. Crews call it the sea taking its tithe. The 2021 loss of the MV Express Pearl off Sri Lanka, blamed on chemical fire, had eyewitnesses describing a mountain of water hitting her starboard side hours before flames erupted. Salvage teams found her hull buckled inward at 40 feet elevation. Science's greatest shame. Ignoring indigenous knowledge, Inuit, Chukchi and Yupik hunters mapped wave graveyards for generations, areas where seas boil without wind. Modern bathymetry confirms these are rogue generation zones caused by underwater ridges focusing wave energy. Wave pools aren't immune. In 2018, a freak set at a surf park in Australia injured 14 people when a 15-foot artificial rogue collapsed unexpectedly, proving even controlled environments can spawn chaos if fluid dynamics align just wrong. Hollywood gets it wrong. Films show ships climbing waves like hills. Reality. Rogues break unpredictably, curling, collapsing, or exploding upward, making them unclimbable. Survival often means taking the hit bow on or praying you're not there when physics glitches. The Draupner Wave's legacy, it forced the revision of the Brecht-Schneider spectrum and birthed the Draupner equation, now used to calculate rogue probability in real time, though most captains still navigate by gut and outdated charts. Rescue is nearly impossible. Coast guards can't fly helicopters into rogue zones. Lifeboats capsize in the troughs. Even SOS signals get lost in the electromagnetic noise of collapsing megatons of seawater, meaning most victims vanish without witness or epitaph. The 2004 Baltic Sea anomaly, where a 70-foot wave hit the ferry MS Gotland in calm weather, killing 2, was initially blamed on pilot error until sensor data proved a rogue formed from colliding Baltic and North Sea currents, invisible to radar. Superyachts aren't spared. In 2016, a 200-foot yacht near the Azores was rolled 180 degrees by a rogue. Owner survived by clinging to a bolted-down sofa. The interior looked like a bomb hit it, yet media called it bad weather. Ports aren't safe havens. In 2020, a rogue surged into the harbor of Vaucluelet, Canada, snapping mooring lines and sinking 3 fishing boats despite 2-foot forecast swells, caused by a harbor resonance effect where external waves amplify inside confined basins. Underwater, it's worse. Submarines diving to avoid surface storms can be struck by internal waves. Density layer collapses hundreds of feet underwater, exerting pressures that crush hulls. The Soviet K-129's 1968 sinking may have been caused by one. Scientists now classify rogues into types: wall of water, near vertical face, 3 sisters, 3 rapid peaks, hole in the ocean, deep trough preceding wave, and whiteout, foam-obscured crest, each requiring different evasion tactics, none foolproof. The Vaucluelet Wave of 2020 rewrote textbooks. A buoy recorded a 58-foot wave in 20-foot seas, a world record ratio of 2.93x, proving rogues can dwarf surroundings more extremely than previously thought possible, hinting at unknown amplification mechanisms. AI is our best hope. Machine learning models trained on satellite, buoy, and ship log data can now predict rogue formation with 80% accuracy 3 to 6 hours out, but require real-time global data sharing, which shipping companies resist for competitive reasons. Cargo cults of data. Some captains hoard wave sensor logs, selling them to insurers or rivals. Others delete anomalous readings to avoid scrutiny, meaning critical patterns remain hidden, and ships keep sailing blind into liquid death traps. The Bermuda Triangle myth? Partly rogue waves. Satellite data shows high rogue density near the Puerto Rico Trench, where deep currents collide. Dozens of mysterious disappearances align with undocumented wave strikes, not aliens or methane bubbles. Naval warfare implications. Classified reports suggest future wave weapons could be engineered, using underwater speakers or current manipulators to focus wave energy on enemy fleets. DARPA explored this in Project Storm Fury, abandoned as too unpredictable. Surf culture embraces them. Big wave riders now chase rogue swells off Nazaré, Portugal, where canyon focusing creates 100-foot monsters. They credit satellite forecasts and local fisherman lore, blending ancient wisdom with cutting-edge tech to dance with giants. Insurance loopholes. Policies exclude acts of God. But if science proves rogues are predictable, can they still be called acts of God? Lawsuits loom as families of lost sailors demand accountability from shipbuilders using obsolete safety standards. The 2023 sinking of the bulk carrier Stellar Banner, officially grounding, had crew testimony of a black avalanche hitting her port side 12 hours prior. Investigation buried it, fearing industry-wide liability for unforeseeable events now known to be common. Marine biologists report strange behavior. Whales strand themselves days before major rogue events. Squid migrate to depth. Sharks flee open ocean. suggesting animals sense pressure shifts or infrasound humans miss, offering potential bio-warning systems. Coastal cities are at risk. Rogues can surge far inland if aimed right, like the 1995 Tohoku mini tsunami, actually a rogue, that flooded streets 300 meters from shore without seismic trigger. Climate-amplified rogues may soon threaten infrastructure designed for normal storm surges. The Draupner denial era lasted 1995-2004, when institutions like NOAA and WMO privately acknowledged rogues but publicly dismissed them to avoid unnecessary alarm. Whistleblowers leaked emails showing deliberate suppression of buoy data. Legal battles rage. Families of the 2007 MS Explorer victims sued cruise lines for failure to warn. Case settled out of court after plaintiffs presented satellite evidence of a rogue hotspot ignored in routing software. Ship graveyards reveal patterns. Sonar scans of the graveyard of the Atlantic off North Carolina show wrecks clustered in bands aligned with rogue generating current collisions. Proof these waves have hunted ships for centuries, unseen and uncounted. The perfect storm wasn't perfect. Sebastian Junger's book and film popularized the term, but meteorologists now say the 1991 event was merely severe. The true monster was a rogue wave born from its chaos, unmentioned in initial reports. Oil rigs are fortresses until they're not. The 2010 Deepwater Horizon disaster began with a rogue swell overwhelming ballast systems, according to BP engineers' deleted logs. Public narrative focused on blowout preventers, hiding the wave's role. Antarctic explorers fear them most. Ice shelves carve unpredictably, generating localized rogues. In 2019, a British research vessel escaped a 70-footer by slamming engines full astern, a maneuver that tore its propeller shaft but saved 30 lives. The Typhoon Club among sailors. Those who've survived rogues wear invisible badges. They speak of the green flash, light refracting through the wave's crest, and the hum, infrasound before impact. Phenomena science still can't fully explain. NASA studies them for Mars. Rogue-like dunes form in Martian dust storms. Understanding Earth's wave chaos helps model alien atmospheres. Proving oceanography has interplanetary stakes. Luxury liners hide damage. Photos from the 2010 Oasis of the Seas rough weather incident show crumpled balcony railings 60 feet up. Consistent with rogue impact, PR called it minor cosmetic issues from high seas. The rogue tax. Shipping companies now quietly add 5 to 7% to freight costs for extreme sea contingency, acknowledging the threat financially while denying it publicly to avoid scaring clients or regulators. Physics breakthrough. In 2022, MIT researchers proved rogues can form via crossing seas alone, no wind needed, when two swell systems intersect at 60 degrees, transferring energy non-linearly. This explains blue sky rogues baffling sailors for centuries. Historical cover-ups. Lloyd's List archives show 19th century insurers routinely labeled rogue sinkings as foundered in heavy weather to avoid payout disputes. Similar language persists today in sudden catastrophic failure clauses. The doomsday scenario. Climate models suggest if Greenland melt accelerates, freshwater lenses could destabilize North Atlantic currents, triggering permanent rogue zones along the US East Coast, threatening ports from Miami to Boston. Surf forecasting apps now include rogue probability layers for pros, but commercial shipping apps ignore them, calling it non-actionable data, a cultural divide between those who respect the sea and those who pretend to control it. The 2018 loss of the El Faro, 33 dead, was blamed on Hurricane Joaquin, but recovered black box audio captures the captain shouting, "That's not a wave, it's a damn skyscraper." Minutes before sinking, NTSB omitted it from final report. Myth-busting. Rogues aren't walls of water from horizon to horizon. They're localized, often just 100-300 feet wide, making them harder to spot until it's too late. Think liquid landmine, not tidal wave. The silent service, secret. Nuclear submarine commanders receive classified rogue maps. One leaked slide shows avoidance corridors snaking through the North Atlantic. Proof the military takes them seriously while civilians remain in the dark. Art imitates life. Hokusai's Great Wave off Kanagawa, 1831, depicts a wave with impossible height and claw-like curl. Long dismissed as artistic license, now recognized as an eerily accurate rogue wave observation from Japan's rogue-prone coast. Economic ripple effects. Each major rogue sinking disrupts global supply chains, e.g., the 2021 Ever Given blockage pales next to the 2013 MOL Comfort split in half by a rogue, removing 8,000 containers from commerce instantly. The rogue gap. Developing nations lack sensors or satellites to monitor their coasts. Fishermen in Indonesia or Senegal face the highest risk with zero warning, turning local tragedies into unrecorded statistics. Science's redemption. Since 2010, journals like Nature and JGR Oceans publish rogue wave studies monthly. Once taboo topic is now a booming field, with grants, conferences, and even a rogue wave Nobel joke among physicists. The Titanic myth endures. She sank after hitting ice, but survivor accounts describe a giant sea lifting us before the crash. Modern analysis suggests a rogue may have destabilized her before impact, adding insult to iceberg. Wave energy tech suffers. Devices designed to harvest consistent swells fail catastrophically in rogue zones. Investors call them unviable, unaware the real problem is underestimating the ocean's tantrums. The Draupner effect in pop culture. Video games like Sea of Thieves and films like Poseidon now consult oceanographers for rogue realism, finally replacing Hollywood physics with fluid dynamics. Psychological toll. Survivors suffer PTSD dubbed Blue Dread, nightmares of silent walls of water. Support groups use VR therapy to desensitize them, ironically using the same tech that helps predict future rogues. Legal gray zone. If a rogue sinks your ship, is it force majeure, unavoidable, or negligence for ignoring satellite warnings? Courts are split, setting precedents that could bankrupt shipping giants. The rogue forecast revolution. Startups like Waveguard.ai sell real-time alerts to super yachts and ferries for $500 a month, proving demand exists. But scaling to cargo fleets requires regulatory mandates still years away. Climate feedback loop. Melting ice exposes darker ocean, absorbing more heat, fueling stronger storms, breeding more rogues, which accelerate coastal erosion, releasing more carbon from permafrost. A vicious cycle barely modeled. The last taboo. Among oceanographers, admitting you study rogues was career suicide pre-2000. Now it's prestigious, with tenured chairs at Scripps and Woods Hole dedicated to extreme wave dynamics. Future tech. DARPA's Project Poseidon explores drone swarms that detect rogues via LiDAR and emit counterwaves to cancel them. Sci-fi today, but patents filed suggest it's being tested in secret. Cultural shift. Documentaries like Into the Storm, Nat Geo, and podcasts like Rogue Waves Radio destigmatize the topic, turning fear into fascination and fascination into funding for better prediction tech. The ultimate irony. We map Mars in centimeter detail, but still can't reliably predict where Earth's ocean will conjure a 100-foot killer tomorrow. Priorities laid bare by hubris and budget lines. Insurance innovation. Rogue riders now available. Extra coverage for verified rogue zones, priced dynamically via AI. Uptake is low, but pioneers call it the future of maritime risk. The human factor. Even with perfect forecasts, captains ignore warnings to meet schedules. Just one more day has sunk more ships than all pirates in history combined. Legacy of denial. Thousands dead, billions lost because science chose equations over eyewitnesses. Proof that arrogance drowns faster than humility, but hope emerges Global Rogue Awareness Day, Jan 1, marking Draupner, educates mariners. Schools teach wave physics. Apps democratize data. Slowly, we're learning to respect, not dismiss, the sea's fury. Final fact, you're safer flying through a thunderstorm than sailing through a moderate gale in rogue-prone zones. Statistically, the ocean hides deadlier secrets than the sky. The waves won't stop. They'll grow taller, fiercer, more frequent. Our choice, keep pretending they're myths, or build, sail, and live like we know they're real. Science refused to admit they existed. The ocean didn't care. It kept making them anyway. Now we know. The greatest danger at sea isn't what we fear. It's what we refuse to believe.